skills, based on that you may get a job. But as you rise in the profession, I think you will spend 60% of the time talking. You will spend more than 60% of the time, 60% of the time talking, and then quite a bit of writing you have to do. You have to write, talk in small groups. You have to learn to write reports. These are the kind of things that go on in the profession. And as I said, most experienced engineers and scientists, they write both writing skills and speaking skills as very important or even critically important for a job performance. And then some of the important written communication cited for particular importance and frequency include, there are 5 important written skills which are very, very important for professionals, particularly engineers and scientists. One is certainly project proposals. You should know how to write effective project proposals, whether faculty are applying for DST grant or whether they are applying for a grant from across the country or even for seed money from within the institute. You need to write effective project proposals, and then you also learn to write good progress reports. Our students will be employed as engineers. They will have to learn to write effective progress reports. Then you also need technical descriptions, ability to describe things. Technical descriptions are very important, and so also memos and short reports are very, very important. In fact, in our country, memo means is always written on green paper. If you get a memo, then there is something frightening or something wrong. That's not the way it is. Memos and short reports, all the time, there is not much difference between the two. I will start talking about those things. To start with, memo or short informal report. This is usually a 1 to 4 page document. There is no any hard and fast rule about it. Depending upon the occasion and the communication task you are there, either it can be 1 page or sometimes it can be 4-page document. Certainly not longer than that. And usually single spaced. It's never double spaced, usually single spaced. And it's usually written to someone within the writer's own organization. Right? Somebody within the organization, you learn to write a report. I mean, the most important thing is engineers usually they're tasked with the idea of finding a solution to a problem. They don't waste words, right? They don't want to shine as heroes. Their heroism comes in the fact that you have to find a solution to a serious problem. Often it's a technical problem, so you try to find a solution to that. The solution may not always be perfect, but then you have to find a solution. So to that extent, the writing is also very precise, brief and clear. This is something part of the engineering discourse itself, but then one should also need to say what to say and what not to say. So here it is something to 1 to 4 page document, very precise, usually single spaced, and usually written to someone within the writer's own company or an organization. Okay. What does a memo do? Memo, a typical memo or a short informal report, it will note the existence of a problem. It will clearly foreground a problem. It will note the existence of a problem, and the problem is technical in nature. And then it proposes some course of action. You have to suggest a clear solution. Not here, there, not wasting words. Suggest a clear course of action. And sometimes it describes a procedure or it reports the results of a text or an investigation. Something you are trying to investigate and you have to report the results in a very simple, direct and vigorous way. Of course, a memo can take the form of a letter or a short informal letter. Right? Either it can take the form of a letter or it can be a short informal letter. What is the informal report? What does the word informal mean? What does the word informal mean? When we say informal, informal is not to be confused with being sloppy or careless. Not that, far from it. In fact, an informal report has to be prepared with as much care, as much attention as you would prepare a regular report. Only thing is the format is quite informal. I will come to that. It is not the care that goes into it. It is
not predefined.
It is not predefined, but then I think I would suggest some kind of a format also. But then it is not very, what to say, hard and fast binding on you, but you can be somewhat relaxed when you choose the format. But then it has to be done with enormous care. If your report is full of, if you take a holiday from English grammar and make mistakes in the report, no matter how brilliant you are technically, your credibility will suffer a great deal. Right? So if you don't write a fantastic, flamboyant style, you are not expected to write like that. You have to write in a way which people understand, in a very simple, direct way. You have to be accurate, you have to be brief, you have to be clear, but it has to be, there is no exaggeration there. That's what I am coming to. And then the informal report is, of course, it has to be clearly typed or word processed, and it should be thoroughly proofread for errors. Don't make any mistakes in your English and then lose your credibility that way, right? In fact, in one of the surveys conducted in the University of California, Berkeley, they had some fictitious resumes, and these were given to some 74 fictitious resumes were given to companies, and they were asked to report on them. Some of the people were technically brilliant, and even as undergrad students, they had patents. But those things, they consciously put some mistakes in English grammar, and those reports went down the drain. People who were average and who demonstrated good, clear writing skills, they were the ones who were chosen for the job. So this shows, I think, right from the word go, you will have to be error-free. Whatever you do is error-free. To that extent, writing is very, very important for engineers. That's what I am driving at. Of course, an informal report can be short or it can be long. The informal simply refers to the format in which the report is prepared. Of course, like an informal report, a progress report can also be either long or short. Okay. Now I will come to this structure of memos and short reports. Of course, who are your readers? Whenever you write something, you will have to think of a reader. You have to think of a reader. Whom do you think are important readers for your document? Or if you are writing a report, whom do you think are your readers? Do you have any idea? Who will be reading your
That depends on subject matter, right?
Huh?
That depends on subject matter, you are right.
Okay. So, but can you think of a hypothetical report and suggest a few readers?
Sir, you applied to the DST projects.
Huh?
So if you applied for some DST projects, maybe some IT professors can read the project.
Okay.
So that can be they may be the reader of the project proposal.
Okay, somebody, okay, fine. There will be, I think, for every report there can be multiple readership, right? If you think only the person who the manager, the fund manager who is going to release the funds, you see, he is not the only person who will read the report. Of course, your report will be read by other engineers who are as competent as you are in the field, and they would like to run an experiment and see whether what you have done is right. There may also be professional jealousies, whatever. So you need to be extra careful in preparing those reports. Sometimes the report can even go to somebody like a filing clerk. He or she may not understand what you are saying, but then if you mess up the document, you will file it in the wrong place. So your readership is diverse. What you have to do is your document has to be kind of layered. There is something for everybody. Best policy here is divide and rule. Your document, 1-page document, a 4-page document, you have multiple readers, and then you will simply adopt a policy of dividing and ruling. Layer the document so there is something for everybody. It is read by a variety of audiences, by technical experts in the field or competent engineers like you, and then by managers and other non-experts. Usually what happens, the person who releases the funds for your who funds your project, he is a layman, he is an intelligent layman. It's possible that once upon a time he might have been an engineer somewhere, but after some time he has got into this managerial profession. So he has grown away from the profession. Even such an engineer has to be treated as a non-expert only, right? Or sometimes it could be an MBA who may not have any background in engineering. So, in fact, for all reports, somebody like Lord Ganesh is the manager. The person who releases the funds, he has to be pleased properly. So it is read by a variety of audiences, by technical experts in the field, by managers and other non-experts. Memo or report should be accessible to all these readers and responsive to their needs and reading habits. See, accessible to all these readers means it should be written clearly and then they should be able to understand what you are trying to argue. And then it should be responsive to their needs and reading habits. What is responsive to their needs and reading habits? Different people have different way of reading things. You have to understand that. A manager is somebody who will look for things upfront. He will not read the entire document. He will just say whether something is feasible or not. Right? He is looking for the bottom line conclusions upfront. So first things you have to keep in mind the manager, and then in the discussion part you can think of the engineers who will read, who will analyze, who will test whether what you are saying is right or wrong, whether it's cost effective or not. And you can even, by layering the document further, even like a filing clerk, even you should be kept in mind. So this is how you go about doing this. In part, this responsiveness may be increased through two important structural features in the report. The responsiveness to the various reading habits of people can be increased by two structural features. One is by providing a very clear foreword and summary. By writing a clear foreword and summary. Of course, this foreword and summary sometimes is called introduction and summary, sometimes it's called the executive summary, or sometimes it's called the executive overview. These are only some terms depending upon in-house style. If you work for a certain company, they will say executive overview. They are combined both the foreword and the summary. In some places they are called the introduction and the summary. In some places it will be called the foreword and the summary. So far is it clear? Right? Now let's come to the structural